If you want a fast, fun, 4-seat sports coupe, you buy a BMW M4 or you buy a Mercedes-AMG C63. At least those are the obvious choices. But for the last few years, Lexus has built this, the RC F, which has been a quirky, unusual, interesting alternative.
And then there is the alternative, the new Audi RS5. And there are reasons you would have one of these, such as this lovely interior. Audi does interiors well, doesn't it? This is as good as any it has made. All right, it's not the most interesting place to be. It is not the most exciting car interior to sit in. There's lots of black plastic, but there is also lots of beautifully assembled leather, thick, rubbery plastics where plastics are used. It feels solid, secure, and there are lots of people who really like that, to get in a car and go, yeah, this is a place where I could spend lots of hours very comfortably. But isn't it quite telling that the first thing I'm telling you about a sports coupe, and one of the major reasons that you might buy an Audi RS5 over the competition, is what it's like inside? Because, how to say this, I'm not convinced it's a sports car.
Now we're parked up in this car park with the bonnets up, not because we've both broken down, but because we want to talk about the engines. The engines are a really important theme with both of these cars.
Yeah, pretty integral, aren't they?
Remind us what you've got with your Audi.
I've got 2.9 litre V6, which is the epitome of downsizing, because it is, well, it replaced that 4.2 V8. 2 turbochargers, 444 Queen's horsepower, and about the same in foot-pounds, which it makes all the way through.
So, ultra-modern engine, that one. Dirty, old, stinking, lovely, wonderful, normally aspirated 5-litre V8.
It's really good, isn't it?
I think Isambard Kingdom Brunel had a hand in designing this engine. 471 brake horsepower, so it's got a bit more power than the Audi, but nowhere near the performance.
Yeah. When I drove this yesterday, put my foot down, having been in that all day, put my foot down in that at 2,000 RPM and nothing happens.
We've both been spoiled by turbo engines, haven't we? Because it seems unusual now.
Yeah, exactly.
And similarly, when I drove this one earlier, having spent all day in the Lexus, I almost soiled myself at how accelerative it is. It's amazingly fast, that car.
Yeah, because although, like you say, that's got more power, there must be more torque to the wheels through 80% of the rev range in that. But the nice thing about this is you get back what you put in. That can be a bit boosty, that can surprise you with how quick it is. This, you work it that much, you get that much response. You work it this much, you get this much response. And when it comes to feel and sort of precision and response, I think you get more out of one of these.
Yeah, that's got the performance, but we're both agreed this is actually a much more enjoyable engine. And then there's the soundtracks. Let's listen to a little bit of the Audi.
Thrilling.
And now the Lexus. There's just no contest.
Yeah.
Now let's quickly address the thing that all of you will be thinking about. That's the way this RCF looks. It's a bit mad, isn't it, really? Do you know what? I don't actually mind it. I think it looks quite cool. I posted a picture on Twitter a few days ago of this car and I said, no, you can't call it pretty. But I think it looks really special in this sonic red and with the carbon pack. I thought it looked really special. And everyone came back to me and said, no, Dan, it looks hideous. And I went back to them and I said, well, okay, but surely Lexus deserves some credit for making something so different, so original. And that time everyone came back and said, no, Dan, it looks hideous. So the cabin is pretty crazy too. It looks like this sort of sci-fi vision of the future from the 80s, all these horizontal layers, but the quality is really good. It's a comfortable place to sit, good seating position. Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I like this trackpad that you use with your finger to navigate the infotainment system.
Yeah, all right, the latest RS5 is 50, 60 kilograms lighter than the old one. It's got a more rearward weight bias than the old one, and it's got a sports differential at the back, so even though it is a kind of front-led four-wheel drive system, it feels much more rear drive than it used to.
I hesitate to make this next point because I really, really like this engine. But you know what? The car doesn't feel that fast. It's got 471 brake horsepower. It's got plenty of power, more power than the RS5. And yet somehow it doesn't feel that fast. That's partly because of the torque. It's got just under £400 for the torque. It's still a good amount of torque, but it's produced way up the rev range, so it doesn't give you that thump in the back that you get with turbocharged cars. And the other problem is this car is pretty heavy. It's close to 1,800 kilograms. It's a bit of a porker, isn't it, really? It's about 300 kilograms heavier than you want it to be.
This is a car whose 0 to 62 time starts with a 3. That is fast. So from point to point, it goes well, it grips well, it stops well. It's just that it doesn't really involve you in any of those processes while it's doing it. And it feels sometimes just a little bit clumsy, I suppose. You know, the engine's a bit boosty, the steering's weight changes as you get up to a certain speed, and they're trying to help you out. You know, Audi are trying to do you a favour by going, well, we'll make the steering light when you're going slowly, and we'll make it heavier to give more reassurance and feedback when you're going fast. But all that does really is just make it slightly inconsistent. And in a sports car, I just want a car that's on my side. I just want to get back the same amount of effort that I've put in. And Audi's sports cars just don't really do that for me.
The steering, now that's a bit of a weak point, really. It's quite nicely weighted, it's pretty accurate, you can place the car where you want it, but it's just remote, it's just completely synthesized, it's digital rather than analog. This car's got the clever torque vectoring differential, so we scroll through it with this TVD button here. We can go into track mode, we can go into standard, and we can go into slalom mode. And with the little display here down in the instrument binnacle, I can see what the differential's doing. In slalom mode, I can see when I'm coming out of a corner and I'm on the power, it sends most of the torque to the outside wheel. But frankly, on the road, and I hate to admit this, I can't feel the difference. You need to get the car on circuit to actually appreciate what that differential is doing.
You can put it in dynamic, you can put it in auto, you can put it in comfort. That don't make a huge amount of difference either way. I mean, I'd leave the dampers in comfort, I'd leave the steering in comfort, I'd maybe turn the engine up, but then you don't want to turn the gearbox up. So, no, it doesn't make it massively more rewarding one way, it doesn't make it massively more comfortable the other way. So I think really, it's the sort of thing you would play with twice and then just leave in auto all the time.
Push this dial down here and we go into normal mode. To the left, then we go into Eco, it's not very interesting. To the right, Sport S. And to the right again, Sport S Plus. That's the big, noisy, everything stiff, everything aggressive mode. This car's got adaptive dampers, and even on a smooth road like this, Sport S Plus makes the car too stiff. It makes the ride too fidgety. So we'll go back into Sport S, where you just get a little bit more pliancy. When it lands into a compression, the damping is really nice. The car's actually got brilliant body control, given how big and heavy it is. So there we go, lots and lots to like about it. A really characterful car with a fantastic engine. But beyond that, it doesn't have the response, it doesn't have the immediacy or the precision that you need. It's hard to put your finger on that initially, but it's down to a couple of things. It's the steering, vague remote steering, and frankly, it's down to the weight of the thing, almost 1,800 kilograms. Way, way heavier than you want it to be. But you find yourself stroking it along at 7 or 8 tenths rather than really nailing it like you would the BMW M4 or that RS5.
But I will be the first to admit, not everybody wants the same out of a sports car that we do. Some people want a car that makes them look good, makes them feel good, and that they can get in, spend several hours in, get out the other end, feel absolutely as refreshed as they did when they got in, and for it to be quite quick in the meantime. The RS5 absolutely nails all of those things, and I can see why people would want one. But I think you just get a bit more back from something like the Lexus behind me, or certainly a C63 or an M4, or if you don't need all that much space, maybe even a 718 Cayman, or maybe even a couple of year old 911.